Okay, walking around the streets of Colombo, but not aimlessly. We're bringing you to a nice touristy spot which mixes, as always, some good food with our favorite thing, which is cricket. So Vikrant will tell us where we are.
Well, if you are in Sri Lanka and you're here for cricket, the one place that you must and you have to go is the Cricket Club Cafe. Now, this Nikhil was founded by an Australian couple, and like I said, the Australians somehow have a strong connect with Colombo, so they mix cricket with good food.
Yes.
And every time that we are here in Sri Lanka, we've got to come here.
So let's go. This is started by an Australian couple, as Vikrant mentioned, started in 1996, the year Sri Lanka won the Cricket World Cup, and now it's a pilgrimage of sort for any cricket lover who comes in here. Just have a look at that. So you can see the flags of cricket playing countries there on top there, and that's the signage right outside the Cricket Club Cafe. You can't miss it. Let's go. And there is a very interesting thing which we'll talk more about here, which is here sort of a signboard which tells you the distance of each of these iconic cricket grounds from this place, right? So the closest being the Premadasa Stadium,
the venue of the final between India and Sri Lanka.
4.8 kilometers from
yes,
here.
and they've got Eden Gardens, which is 1,941 kilometers from here. You've got various grounds in the world.
Basin Reserve, New Zealand,
yes,
10,000
You've got Lords as well.
Lords is right here. Lords is 8,715 kilometers from here.
And you've got Queen's Park Oval, Trinidad, which is some 15,829 kilometers from here.
Wow.
Amazing.
The furthest.
Yes.
So all iconic stadiums and their distance from this very place.
The one stadium that they need to add now is the biggest in the world, the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. And since the World Cup final is going to be played there, I think very soon they should have a card for Ahmedabad as well.
Maybe they need to evolve with time. But talking about time, we'll take you back in time, because that's the amount of memorabilia that's inside here. So let's go check that out. So this is the inside of the Cricket Club Cafe, and all you see on all the walls here are just cricket memorabilia, photographs, old bats, jerseys.
This is the Indian corner.
Wow.
You got pictures of the famous Indian players signed by them, and this is very special. This is the 1947-48 India's tour to Australia, the official photograph and the autographs of all the players.
Wow. And this is a lot of West Indian players, Brian Lara, Viv Richard, signed back by Sir Garfield Sobers. And it's another special item here. That wall is the Sri Lankan wall. You can see the Sri Lankan flag on top. And paper cutting of the day they won the World Cup, even that's there. Let me quickly show you the paper cutting. That is 1996 when they won their first World Cup. That right there is the actual headline that followed. It
and
says
the coach's jersey.
World Conquerors. Yep, that Watmo was a coach at that time. So they've got that. But there's a special wall that side which I will show it to you. that is rarity. You find all of this in most places. That's a Wasim Akram signed jersey, you can see. But what is a rarity is this. Why is this so special, this particular wall? Because it is dedicated to...
This is the Don Bradman wall.
Wow.
The entire collection belongs to Sir Don Bradman. In fact, while Bradman never came to India, he used to come to Sri Lanka more often. I mean, he's played cricket here, not of course Test cricket, but he's played cricket in Sri Lanka.
Yes, he's played 2 matches here. He toured in 30, 34, 38 and then 48. In 30, he played a game where he got out very early, maybe for a duck if I'm not mistaken, but was out hit wicket. I remember, that's a trivia question. That's the only time he was out hit wicket, Don Bradman. And then 34, 38 he didn't play. He came here, he said he has a cold, so he did not play those 2 games. And 48, which was his last innings, he got some 22 odd and was dismissed. But the entire ground was packed because people from everywhere came to see Don Bradman play.
So the Lankans could actually see Sir Don Bradman, while the Indians have never seen him back.
Yeah, he refused to get off the ship at one point, right? Yeah. So yeah, but this is a special wall for Don Bradman here. So it's a long and elaborate menu, and it's going to take a long time for us to decide. And because it's the Cricket Club Cafe, the menu is also based on cricket and cricketers. That's why it's taking Vikrant a lot of time
Well,
to
either you
zero
go
in.
in with your favorite cricketer
Huh.
or your favorite cuisine. Now the problem is they're not matching well. Your favorite cricketer and the dish that you want to eat, they're not matching well. So I thought Ganga Gai, Ganga Ram, Jamna Gai, Jamna Das. While that we are in Colombo, why not go in with one of their most famous sons?
Yeah.
So I am going to choose Sangakkara seafood, the pasta.
Ah, interesting. So there are lots of options, let me tell you. If you're an Indian cricket fan, there's Gavaskar's Greek, which is a salad. There is Ganguly's Grill. There is Sachin's Sausages and Mash. Lots of others. De Silva, on Ricky Ponting, Greg Chappell. I can see a lot of cricketers. But I am going a bit left side with my selection. And I am not gone for a cricketer. I've gone for a fan of the cricketers. The number one, who is the number one cricket fan in
Percy.
Sri Lanka? Percy, Uncle Percy.
Percy.
So I'm going with Percy's prawns as my main dish.
I remember when the Indians came here for the first time in 1985. In fact, India lost a test match as well. And Uncle Percy would be at the stands. He would keep shouting against the Indians. More specifically against Mohammad Azharuddin, who was a youngster. And Azhar Bhai would recall the stories and tell us that while I would be going out to bat and Percy would say, oh, he'll get out for 0. He said, actually, I did not get runs. But years later, in 2004, this very place, Azhar was working for us on AajTak shows, and Uncle Percy was here, and the two of them had that Bharat Milap, and they hugged and they made up with each other.
Wow, that's a great story. But we're going to now enjoy our cuisine and then quickly review that as well. So stick around. So our food has arrived. My Percy's prawns and his Sangakkara seafood pasta. What's the review? Food?
Well, I think not just the name, they decide on the quantity of or the portion of the food basis that guy's record. Sangakkara, because he would score so many runs, the portion is huge. I don't think I can finish it off. It's good.
One bowl.
Big bowl.
It is. I think I'll finish off my Percy's prawns. But I've been coming to this cafe. I came here first time 2005, and on in every tour of Sri Lanka I've been coming here. It's changed. The cafe has changed. This area is more covered than it was earlier. But one thing that's not changed is their taste of food, which still remains delicious. So next time you are here in Colombo, this is another place you must check out. Before we wind up, there's the final tomorrow. We're doing it on the eve of the final. Who's winning it and why? Short, crisp.
India would be the favorites. And beating Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka, in their own backyard, in a final is going to be the most challenging.
I'm also going with India. India's already beaten Sri Lanka in the league stage, so I think they can do a double. And this will be very important for them looking ahead to the World Cup. You know, knockout games, crucial games, they've faltered. If they win this Asia Cup, they go in to the World Cup with that monkey off their back.
Yeah, they have not won a trophy since 2018.
Yeah.
And if we do win the cup and then go into the World Cup, of course, you know, the Indian 11 looks very settled now.
Yeah.
Very settled. So when we came here versus while we go back, I think India would have answered all the questions. They would have ticked all the boxes. But the one thing that I would want to see in this final is how will the Indians take on the Sri Lankan spinners?
Yeah.
That's been a problem for India.
That will be the contest. Indian batters versus Sri Lankan spinners. For the moment, my hand's aching now. I can't hold it any longer. Vikrant and Nikhil signing
Bye-bye.
off from the Cricket Club Cafe in Colombo. Bye bye.